There's a really simple test I use to understand how dependent a business still is on its founder. And it has nothing to do with revenue, it has nothing to do with headcount, and it has nothing to do with how sophisticated the business looks. I look at the decisions that still come back to the founder. Because you can have 30 people working for you, department heads, managers, systems, meetings, dashboards, and still have a business where somebody needs the founder's permission to make a £500 decision. And when I see that, I'm interested, not because £500 matters, but because of what that decision tells me about the organization. Imagine somebody in your team has a customer problem. Maybe you've made a mistake, the customer isn't happy, and the person dealing with it thinks the right thing to do is offer them £500 credit. But they don't know whether they're allowed to, so they ask their manager. Their manager isn't sure either, and eventually somebody sends you a message. What do you think we should do? You look at the situation, you understand what's happened, and you say, give them the £500 credit. It probably takes you 2 minutes. Problem solved. Except the interesting part isn't the £500. The interesting part is why 3 capable adults needed you to make the decision. And this is where founder dependency often hides, because founders tend to notice the big dependencies. Signing a major contract, changing strategy, committing a significant amount of money. Those are decisions where founder involvement might be completely appropriate, but the hundreds of small decisions are different. Discounts, refunds, customer complaints, supplier problems, small purchases, minor hiring decisions, project changes, exceptions to process. Individually, they're almost irrelevant, but collectively they can consume the founder. You end up spending your day answering questions, not necessarily because your team is incapable, but because the organization hasn't clearly established where the authority begins and ends. And there's an important distinction there. Responsibility is not the same as authority. We give people responsibility all the time. You're responsible for this customer. You're responsible for this project. But then the moment something slightly unusual happens, they need permission. So what have we really delegated? We've delegated the work, but we've kept the decision. And that creates a very particular type of organization. Everyone's busy, everybody has responsibilities, but decisions move upwards and then move to the founder, which means the founder becomes a decision queue. And as the company grows, that queue gets longer. 10 people can probably operate like this, but 20 people, it starts getting uncomfortable. 30 or 40? Now the founder becomes a bottleneck because people are waiting for an answer, waiting for approval, waiting for the founder to come out of a meeting, waiting for the founder to read the message, waiting for the founder to look at the numbers. And here's the dangerous bit. The founder often doesn't realize they're causing the delay. From their perspective, they're helping. Someone asks a question, they answer it. Someone needs a decision, they make it. Someone has a problem, so they solve it. So the founder feels useful, sometimes indispensable, but the organization experiences something completely different. It actually experiences delay. Everything slows down while it waits for one person, and there's another consequence. Your best people eventually stop making decisions. Why wouldn't they? If every judgment call is going to be checked anyway, there's very little upside in taking responsibility for it. So they learn to escalate, and then something quite predictable happens. The founder gets frustrated. Why can't anybody make a decision around here? But sometimes we've accidentally trained them not to. That's why I like businesses to get very clear about decision authority. Not just job descriptions, not just responsibilities, actual decision rights. What decisions can this person make without asking? What financial authority do they have? What customer decisions can they make? What exceptions can they approve? When should something genuinely be escalated? And what information do they need to make those decisions well? I'm not suggesting you tell everybody, do whatever you want. That's not delegation, that's abdication. What we're looking for is controlled autonomy. People understand the outcome they're responsible for. They understand the boundaries. They have the information that they need. And within those boundaries, they can act without waiting for you. And when you start doing this properly, something interesting happens. The founder doesn't just get time back. The organization gets faster. Customers get answers quicker. Problems get resolved earlier. Managers actually manage, and capable people start using their judgment. That's when you're beginning to build organizational capability. So here's something I encourage you to do. For the next few days, don't just pay attention to the work you're doing. Pay attention to the decisions you're making. Every time somebody asks, what do you think? Or can I do this? Are you happy for me to? Can you approve this? Notice it. Because each one is giving you information. Some of those decisions absolutely should come to you, but some of them shouldn't. And if the same type of decision keeps finding its way back to you, don't just answer it again. Ask a different question. Why does this decision still need me? Because that £500 decision might look insignificant, but it could be showing you exactly where your business still depends on its founder. And that's one of the problems we've built Founders Command to solve. Founders Command is for founders who've built a successful business, but have reached the point where too much of the organization still depends on their judgment, their decisions, and their involvement. The objective isn't to remove you from your business, it's to move you to where you should be, setting direction, seeing what's happening, making the decisions that genuinely require you, without spending your day making decisions somebody else should already own. So if you recognize your business in this, there's a link to Founders Command below this video. Take a look, because the question isn't whether you can make that £500 decision. Of course you can. The question is, why are you still the person who has to?